Hey, so a little bit late today. Sorry about that. Kind of a crazy morning and work day. But just a real quick recap of yesterday's class. I thought things went pretty well. We talked about envelopes. That's one of the things that we looked into. So, for example, I have this test queue right here. And I built this out, and I will make this a little bit bigger so we can see everything at once. You have your sound right here. And it's going to 5 different envelopers. And remember, envelopers only impact 2 things, volume or pitch. Then we have a randomizer. It's going to pick one of these each time. Then we have a delay. This would be kind of a realistic example where it's going to wait a minimum of 5 seconds, and it might be up to 65 seconds as far as the max delay. It's going to pick a value in between there. And this is important. Remember, this looping is not looping the audio file, it's looping the logic before it. All the stuff before gets looped again. Because if we didn't put the looping on there, it would play through once, and the win sample I have is roughly 20 seconds long. So it would play for 20 seconds, and then it would just stop. And then finally over here, the modulator is doing some pitch and volume randomization per each call, and it's going to the output. So if I were to play this real quick, it's not going to do anything because we have that delay. So for test purposes, I like to make these values really tiny. For example, 0 seconds and 1 second. We're not going to have to wait very long at all now. And then it's done. And it waits. And does another. It's real laggy right now, which last night was doing that and during the class, and I thought it was because I was doing the screen capture and the screen share at the same time and sharing audio, but it's just real laggy. I'm not sure why. Maybe I need to restart my computer. But that's a great system. And the power behind this is you can have one short audio file, 20 seconds, and it can feel different every single time because it's going to go through these various shapes. And remember, like we said last night, you can just copy and then paste and add another one. Whoops, add an input, drag this over here, connect this. So now we have 6. And then reminder, you can double click in here, it makes a floating window. You can grab any one of these and put them in different spots. You can right click and add a new one. There you go. You can change the slope. If you have the linear, like they're real straight, all you have to do is just select them and then right click and say, I want to go to either linear, to break, I want to do user, I want to do auto. Auto is typically what I use. And then from there you can select any of these keys and change the slope however you want to. And you're good to go. The only other thing to be aware of is look at the numbers here. Oh, sorry, let me stop. I previewed it. This is 0 to 4 seconds to 8 to 12 to 16. When it first starts, if I open up a new envelope, just right click anywhere, and if I click on this, the values are going to be super tiny. If I float this window again, you can see all the way out to here, I'm still not at 1 yet. If I mouse scroll out, the values are starting to get a little bit bigger, but we're still super tiny, 0.03. So my advice, my workflow is just click, add a key, don't care where it is, and on the time, look at that value, super tiny, 0.0.24. If I do 2 seconds and click that, and then I frame it like this, then it's going to fit, and now it gives me all the way to 1 second, all the way to 2 seconds. It gives me the ruler that's a lot better. It's a lot easier to work with. And then you can move this around however you want. As you can tell, it's linear. Select my nodes, do auto, and now I can change. Whoa, I did not mean to do that. Undo. Wow, Unreal, you are being funky. But you get the idea. Select this again, do auto, and then you can change however you want to, do some nice little slopes. One thing I didn't talk about, if you notice in all of these over here, I didn't go below 0. We will talk about that next week, or definitely the week after, because we have a little side project in the third-person 3D platformer game that will be Project 4. I have a little exercise that deals with this. If I go down to 0, it's going to stop it. For example, if I were to grab this one and very quickly go below, if I make it bigger, so at 4 seconds, let's even make it even sooner, at 2 seconds, I'm going to go below the positive into this negative realm. And if I double click on that envelope, it's going to play for about 2 seconds and stop. The reason being is because Unreal by default, if there's a value that has a negative volume parameter, it kills it. So you don't want to do that. Instead, you want to do something like this where you get really, really close. I did get to 0 at the very end because I was fine. I was ending the file. But at the very beginning, I don't want to do that. So that's something to keep in mind. So we looked at those. We also talked about randomizing a loop point. That way you don't hear the same thing over and over again. If we have like a jungle level and there's a really predominant bird call in the first second or first couple seconds of that ambient sound loop, that can get annoying. If every time you start the game, cuckoo, and then you start the game again, cuckoo, and then the third time, cuckoo, it takes you out of the game. And so I showed you that node that will pick a randomized value between the very start of the song or the loop file and the very end. And then it will make sure start that file somewhere new each time. So that's a pretty effective little thing, and I will share that blueprint with you, and you can use it to your heart's content. And then finally, we did a review, a very quick one, on the Project 3. That will be due next week. So please let me know if you have any hurdles there. Otherwise, I'm very excited about what you're creating. I like some of the stuff I've heard so far. Keep progressing with that. And like we talked about both for the video from last week and also the mini sound design project we did yesterday, dig in a bit more for your sound design. Don't be afraid to stretch out. Make it more stylized. Make it more themed. Don't think about one sound. Think about layers of sounds. Think about, like I had that Jim Collect sound that I talked about. Well, what if you had like a grab type sound, whatever that is, and you had like a chime after that? Instead of just the chime, something like that where like it's a grab sound and then a chime happens or some type of tone element happens. I'll leave it to your creativity, but I want to keep pushing y'all to do more and to stretch your sound design more. All right. I think that's about it. So next week we will do match 3 turn-ins. We'll have everything ready to go. You'll zip up your project folder, and I'll probably have some instructions about that. It's fairly easy to do. But also video capture is huge. That way we avoid any issues with Unreal from your machine to mine. So definitely do the video capture, play through the game. We'll do a screen share like we always do. But I'm super enjoying this class. I hope you are too. And next week is going to be so much fun because we get to dig in a lot more on the ambient map and get into that some. Alrighty, y'all. Talk to you later.